Shalawama, Shalawama. I'm DrYasapa from Zion Law School. Welcome, everybody. This is Astrotheology. This is Astrotheology debriefing. This is the debriefing number 14. All right, so welcome. We're going to talk about Christ being the devil again today and some other things along that topic. Okay, y'all? So I'm going to give it a minute and get these settings together. And y'all do me a favor, let people know that we are here in this live stream, all right? So give me a second with these settings and then we get started, all right? So just as a reminder, while I set these settings up, we offer a free 2 live online classes for free, where we go into Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we literally break every word down so that you can understand what the word in Deuteronomy 28 actually means. So in other words, we take the dogma out. Okay? We use etymology, all types of sciences and techniques to remove all of the dogma and doctrine. And then that way you can see what it really means, and you'll be surprised at what you'll find. So everybody can come to the Saturday class, all right? You can come to the Saturday class. You can get those 2 free classes off the rip, right? You don't have to pay for anything. And of course, if you want to stay, there's a tuition fee, all right? But you don't have to worry about that, right? You can come to class to see if you like the content, to see if you feel comfortable in the class, right? I'm the one who's teaching the class. You can see who your co-scholars are, how you interact with your co-scholars, and all of that before you have to make any type of commitment, which is, tuition. So that's why we do it like that, right? So that's my personal belief, that you shouldn't have to pay for something unless you are sure it's what you want, right? So in other words, there's no risk involved. You don't have nothing to lose. That means you don't have any excuses. That means you don't have any excuses if the issue ever comes up about you returning to the Most High and reclaiming your heritage, doing everything you need to do so that you can be able to do that, right? So I'm doing the best I can to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to do so. So it's available. The link is in the description area of this video. Also, the link to the streaming 101 Ancient Ibaryath course, that's in the description area of the video. All right, y'all. So I got the settings together for this video. So do me a favor, let people know that we're live. All right, y'all. Let people know we're live, and give them a call so we can get started. So we're gonna get started right now. So thanks everybody who has provided cash apps to us, also PayPal, donations, investments. Thanks to everybody who's purchased our books, who's subscribed to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. So, and thanks to the people who hold it down in the chat. All right, I really appreciate what y'all do to make these videos phenomenal, more than outstanding, phenomenal. So I really appreciate it. So with all of the thank you said, let's go ahead and get started. Remember, like and share the video. I think everybody probably knows already that we're being shadow banned on YouTube. So it's really important for y'all to comment, like and share the video, and subscribe so that we can do what we can to get these videos pushed, because YouTube is not going to do it, right? I'm sure everybody knows they don't want us to know this information. If they wanted us to know this information, we would have known about it, right? But this is powerful information coming out of the devil's pulpit. So for those of you who are new, the link to the devil's pulpit is in the description area of this video. It's a free link, y'all, so take advantage of it. Download it, print it. All right, so now let's get into it, the topic. We're out of the devil's pulpit. This chapter is raising the devil. Now, the chapter sounds spooky, but it has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with anything evil or wicked, all right? So for those of you who might be sensitive, you can relax. This is a easy chapter in terms of it's not going to make you have cognitive dissonance, all right? At least I don't think it will. But anyway, let's get into it. So the author on page 88, which is the chapter on raising the devil, on not 88, page 86, the author gets into a discussion about Gad, G-A-D, Gad. All right, Gad is in the tribe of Gad. You recall that the author makes the assertion that Gad is Michael the archangel. Gad is Michael the archangel. All right. So Michael the archangel, according to the author, is actually capital G-O-D. Now remember, capital G-O-D in the Gospels is not the Most High, the creator of everything. Okay. They're separate. In fact, there are many capital G-O-D, or there are many Elohims, as they say in modern Hebrew. Okay. You can reference the video that we did on Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2 to get that information, all right? So go back and get that. Capital G-O-D is not the Most High. It can be anybody. In fact, the author goes through at least, I think, 9 capital G-O-Ds. We did that in the live stream where we were reading. So go back and check that out. I don't remember which live stream that was, about 81 or 82 of them. So y'all go back and check that out. All right. So now the author makes this interesting point about the tribe of Gad becoming Michael the archangel, who is capital G-O-D. The author says that capital G-O-D, or the tribe of Gad, becomes man, not by conversion of the Godhead into the flesh. Understand what he's saying there. Gad, G-A-D, becomes Michael the archangel, who is capital G-O-D. Now, capital G-O-D becomes man. And here's how Gad, or Michael the archangel, according to the author, becomes man. He says, not by conversion of the Godhead into flesh. In other words, the deity doesn't become flesh. No. This is how capital G-O-D becomes man. It says, by taking manhood, or putting manhood into capital G-O-D. Now, exactly what that means, I don't know, but I have an idea. As a matter of fact, I'll share with you what I think. And actually, I'm probably right about this one. So here we will recall, and we discussed this in our Saturday class, Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We discussed this. The S-U-N, sun, is the source of heat, right? The S-U-N, sun, is the source of heat. Without no sun, it'd be cold. Everybody knows that, right? So in man, we have internal heat, right? Our bodies make heat. Our bodies make energy. S-U-N, sun. In English, when you look up, that's the sun in the sky. But English played a trick on us. We discussed this several times. And here's the trick. In English, the S-O-N, sun, that O was removed and replaced with the U. But in other languages, S-O-N means sun, like sun in the sky. All right? Or S-O-L, soul, has reference to sun in the sky. So in English, they took that U out. So why did they do that? Well, to facilitate Christian doctrine, right? To facilitate Christian doctrine. Christianity, as we know it today, was created by Constantine. So they took that O out in sun and replaced it with the U. And now they have us thinking that the sun in the sky is a different word than the SON, son, for the son who, the mother gives birth to a male child. Everybody see where I'm going with this? So what am I saying? The internal heat, the energy inside of you, that is the SUN, sun. Everybody see that? That's the energy that makes you hot, the energy that powers you to move about, the energy that powers you to tell your significant other, I love you, to play with your children, to read a book, to imagine, to daydream, to go out and work, to go out and play. That power pack, that life energy in you is in fact the sun, the SUN, sun. So do y'all understand what I'm saying? I think that might be what the author is talking about. We discussed this in one or two of these live stream debriefings, and we also discussed it when we did the readings of every chapter. All right, so what is this saying? So if you have the SUN, sun, inside of you, that inner energy, that inner power that makes you what? A power. Psalms 82:6. And matter of fact, let's show it. Let's make it clear. Psalms 82:6. Now, the scholars yesterday in class got to see this. We discussed it. We had a lot of fun talking about it. And so here we are today bringing it up. It came up in the live stream. So let's take a look at this, okay? Psalms 82:6. This has reference to this, okay? What does it say? Psalms 82:6. What does it say? What does it say? I said, you are GODs. All of you are sons of the Most High. Now remember, the Most High is not G-O-D. The Most High is not capital G-O-D. Okay? This capital and lowercase letters, that's an English thing. That has nothing to do with Ancient Ibaryath. There are no capital letters in Ancient Ibaryath. All right? So it's just G. It is just G. So all of this stuff has been done to confuse you, to put you in a box. What is that box? The box is the Gospels. The box is the Gospels, and we are here for the purpose of breaking the God spell. Breaking the God spell. We're interrupting the incantation, which is the gospel, the magical charm, the black magic that is the book of Matthew, the book of Mark, the book of John, and the book of Luke. As you understand from your readings of this book, these books are charms, incantations, magical spells. How does that work? Well, you read them and it captures your imagination. Because they are tragedies, you get emotionally involved. Because the hero of the story, in this case, the Christ figure, JC, the Christ figure, suffers on behalf of you, giving himself on behalf of you, and then ultimately being beaten, disrespected, disregarded, and then ultimately murdered. You, the reader, feel sorry for him. You get wrapped up into his story. That's right, they got you because you let them have access to your imagination. You got emotionally involved in the tragedy, gave them access to your imagination, and guess what? That is hypnotic. That is hypnotic. This is the psychological attack, or sometimes I refer to psychic attacks. That's what I mean. Psychic attacks. All right. This is the charm, the incantation. These are spells, casting spells, writing, listening to stories, casting spells, black magic, incantations. When you read, right? Incantation. So this is all the things that we talked about. Anyway, let's go back to the topic. All right. Oh, by the way, the Christ figure said the same thing, right? Let's take a look at that. So we're putting this into context. So how is it that you are GODs? How is it that you are GODs? We're looking at that. You are GODs. Okay, so it looks like that's John chapter 10. Everybody sees that, right? So how is it? It is because you are, in fact, stardust. You are the sun. You are the power. Okay, so here we see you are, I don't know what we're looking at, but this is quote, you are gods, ye are gods in Psalms 82:6 and John 10, chapter 34. So let's look at that. So now does everybody see? Now we're talking about astronomically, right? This is astrotheology class. So there is natural phenomena, and then there is astronomy or astrology, then there is theology, there's theology, religion, and then things have their what? Their Ibaryath meaning. So we're looking at four levels of meaning, four levels of understanding, four levels of understanding. And y'all, do me a favor, put in the comment section if y'all have ever approached, I'm curious, have you ever seen this approach, these four levels of understanding being brought out? So John chapter 10, verse 34, and JC, the Christ figure, answered them, quote, is it not written in your law? I have said you are GODs. Excuse me. Is it not written in your law that I have said you are GODs? Okay. So now we just looked at both of those sources. And how are we GODs? Well, when we look at it from the point of view of etymology, S-O-N, sun, S-O-N, sun, meaning the sun in the sky, meaning the sun in the sky. And in English, they changed that O into a U so that you would not know, that S-O-N, sun, has reference to the sun in the sky. Your energy source, that burning heat, that power, right? Solar power. Y'all know the sun is power. You can capture some of the power with solar disk, etc., right? Or you can capture power by heating something like heating water or metal. All of these things, making steam. So that is you. That is you. So we're dealing with the etymological and the astronomical meaning of it. But let's get back on topic, y'all. All right, so let me take a look at this comment. Roderick's point of view, Islam and Shalawama. Roderick's point of view writes, no, I have not seen them brought out, but it does make sense and it is something we need to do. Yeah, Roderick, I agree with you. And I appreciate you breaking the ice in the comment section. It's good to see you back, my brother. Good to see you back. Okay, y'all, let's continue. And see, what Roderick is getting at is the need for us to take a systematic approach to relearning what these ancient documents mean. Now, we can all agree, I think, or at least 99% of us, we can all agree that the Gospels have been used as a weapon of war, as a Trojan horse, right? And that I hope everybody can agree that the vast majority of our people are brainwashed and afraid due to the Gospels. They're afraid to die. They're afraid to burn in hell. And when people are afraid, most people freeze, and our people have froze. They're so frozen that they won't even step up and protect themselves. They won't even step up and learn. That's most of us. They're frozen like a deer in the headlight. They don't know what to do. Okay? But that's the issue going on here. So the author, I like the way he put it. He said, break the God spell, break the gospels, break the God spell. See, don't do it because you're ignorant and you're being played. Study the gospels, study the astrological meaning, study the theological meaning. How do you get to those? You get to those through etymology, philology, and all of these things that we've been talking about. So that's the approach. That's what we're doing here. All right, so the author makes that very, very interesting point. I wanted to bring that out. Now, again, the author talks about Christ being the mediator between capital G-O-D and man. So how does that work? How is it that Christ is the mediator between capital G-O-D and man? You'll find this on page 86, y'all. Page 86. We're still on page 86. All right. So how does this happen? That's the issue. That is the issue. Well, I'm going to read the paragraph. It's not a lot. Okay. Page 86 is about midway down. It says, as only, well, let me excuse me, let me start here. It says, again, Christ is the Son, okay, the S-U-N, is most literally the mediator or go-between between Gad, G-A-D, and man, because the fixed stars which compose or make up the tribe of Gad constellation and all the other tribes of the celestial Israel, okay, so we're talking about the 12 constellations, the 12 tribes of Israel, right? All are astrotheologically constellations, 12 tribes and 12 constellations of the zodiac. Everybody see that? All right, so now let's continue. And all the other tribes of the celestial Israel are sons. They are sons, S-U-Ns. They are sons of their own. Okay, they're sons of their own. So in other words, every star in every constellation is a sun in its area. So they're all sons, okay? They are all sons to systems of their own. So maybe there are planets there and everything else for those suns, right? And our Earth's annual motion, so the sun's orbit, right? I'm sorry, the Earth's orbit, and our Earth's annual motion, the Earth's orbit around the S-U-N sun, that's the sun that we see in our sky, throws the sun or makes the sun seem to go between us and those measurelessly removed fixed stars. Y'all got that? That's how the sun or the Christ is the mediator between man and the Most High. Let me read this paragraph to explain it. And he explains it really well. That's why I want to read it, so I get it right. So here's the explanation of that paragraph. As only walk around the table with your eyes steadily directed on any fixed object on the table, you will see that object with relation to the distant objects on the room. All right, that pictures on the wall, decoration, so on and so forth. Exactly opposite of them, those objects, changing its point of opposition as you change your situation. So you're walking around the table. That's what the author is saying. But you're walking around the table looking at the same thing. Okay, you keep your eyes on the same thing. That's what he's saying thus far. And thus, while you alone are moving, the object on which your eyes are fixed will seem to be moving. Y'all got that? All right. And thus will be a mediator. That object is a mediator between you, or an intercessor at all times between you and the more distant fixed objects, by which you alone can measure the change which is going on, not in their positions, but in yours. All right. So everything looks like it's moving, but you got your eyes fixed on one thing. Okay. But you can see the things in the distant, but they appear to be moving, but it's actually you who's walking around the table. That's what the author is saying. So that's how the sun, S-U-N, and JC, the Christ figure, astronomically are the mediator between capital God and let me know, y'all, if y'all can hear me. Okay, my live stream was cut off, so y'all let me know if y'all can hear me. All right, so let's continue. Let's continue. So Roderick's point of view writes, yes, the church has our people in a spellbound state of mind, but they need to ask themselves one question: as anyone in the Old, or has anyone in the Old Testament said that they are afraid of going to hell? Excellent point. Let me read that again, y'all. Let me read that again. Yes, the church has our people in a spellbound state of mind, but they need to ask themselves one question. And here's that question, y'all. Here's the question. Have you read in the Old Testament? Have you heard anybody say in the Old Testament that they were afraid of going to hell? Ask yourself that question. And so where does this gospel stuff come from? This burning in hell come from, right? I think about one or two live streams ago, we mentioned that in the Old Testament, the devil is not referred to in the plural, in the singular. Okay, it is not referred to in the singular. That doesn't happen until the New Testament, until the Gospels. So what does that mean? The devil expressed in singular number, well, that's an individual, that's a person, right? Now, this is according to the author. Okay, so Roderick's point of view writes, Roderick's point of view writes, all right, yes, I can hear your sound now. Okay, thanks, Roderick. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right. So I don't know where we left off, y'all, but for what you missed, the part about Christ being the mediator of man, make sure you get the free PDF download in the description area of the video. You can read that on page 86, the two paragraphs in the middle of the page. So now let's move on. The author talks about the great liar. Now remember, this topic is called raising the devil. Raise the devil and take a look at him to see who he is, what he is, and if he exists as a real person who ever lived, or if he has reference to some astronomical phenomena. All right, that's what this chapter is about. So now you look at the last paragraph on the page, what you're going to see is the constellation Cetus. You're going to see the constellation Cetus. And astronomically, the constellation Cetus is the father of the lie. The constellation Cetus is the father of the lie. All right, y'all. So let me show Cetus. Let me show the constellation of Cetus, and we'll get into what that means astronomically. We'll tell the story. All right. So let's take a look at the constellation Cetus, the beginning of the liars. Cetus is the beginning of the liars. So let's take a look at Cetus. Hold on. There we are. Here we are. Here's Cetus. Let me see. Hold on. That's not a. Well, let me go back. I have a different picture that I have up. So Cetus is the father of the lie, the beginning of liars. Let me see. Okay, here we go. These are better. So let me show this one. Here's the constellation Cetus. According to the author, this astronomically is the father of the lies, the beginning of the liars. All right, the beginning of the liars. This is the largest constellation in the heavens. Okay, this is the largest constellation in the heavens, the constellation Cetus. Okay, and his attribute is what? He's the beginning of the liars. What does that mean? It's a play on words. You know why he's the beginning of the liars? Because Cetus, when it enters into the zodiac, y'all will remember that the first zodiac is Aries the ram. The first zodiac is Aries the ram. So you'll begin counting at Aries. You begin counting at Aries. That's the first one. Well, how is Cetus the beginning of the liars? Well, because here's why. Because Cetus, the Cetus constellation, falls outside of the zodiac. The Cetus constellation falls outside of the zodiac. All right, now let me show you what, and we also discussed this in Saturday's class. Cetus constellation falls outside of the zodiac. And what that means is this. I'm going to show it. All right, so this is your astronomical relationships. All right, so let me show that. Give me 1 second, I'll pull it up. Okay, here we are. So let's take a look at the zodiac. So here's the zodiac. These are the 12 constellations, the 12 mansions in the Father's abode. So the Father's abode is all stars. It's the entire space, right? When you look up the entire space. Okay, so these are the 12 mansions my Father has, my Father's abode. That means in space, there are many mansions, 12 apostles, 12 constellations. So now here's Aries. Take a look at the cursor. This is Aries. All right, this is the constellation Aries. So Cetus, if you look at the cursor, Cetus is here, but his body falls outside of all of these constellations. So he lies outside. Cetus is the beginning of the liars. Okay, Cetus constellation falls outside of this perimeter of the zodiac signs. Y'all see that? So Cetus is the beginning of the liars, the beginning of the constellations that fall outside of the perimeter of the 12 zodiac. Is it clear, everybody? Is that clear? All right, now let's continue. So what else about Cetus? Well, the author continues. He says, Cetus abode not in the truth. A Cetus abode not in the truth, right? And is, as his eternal punishment for not abiding in the truth, condemned to follow the Lamb. Who's the Lamb? The Lamb is Aries, right? The Lamb is Aries. Aries, the Ram, the Lamb of capital G-O-D. So Cetus is punished. And what's the punishment? What's the punishment? Cetus is condemned to follow the Lamb wheresoever the Lamb goes. All right. And then the author says, most literally, he walketh about, that is, Cetus walks about seeking whom he can devour. Let's take a look at Cetus again. So Cetus looks like a scary monster, right, y'all? Cetus looks like a scary monster. So again, this is not theology, scholars. What we're dealing with is astrotheology, or the astronomy, right? The astronomy, the natural phenomena that has been remixed into religion, that has been remixed into gospel stories, gospel verses. All right, y'all see it? This is the remix of the gospel story that we just discussed. All right, this is the natural phenomena, and you'll find the remix written in the gospel. Y'all know what I mean by remix, right? Remix, like you hear remixes of songs, old songs, or right, remixed, everything is remixed, represented, right? Few things changed to make it more interesting for the time, and it's just a remix of the same stuff. That's what the gospel is. It's a remix of astrology, okay, or astronomy, just a remix. All right, so now let's continue. The author, I thought this was really funny, y'all. The author talks about the apostles having a cloven tongue and being double-tongued, right? So now check this out. We're still talking about the same thing. Whom says the cloven-tongued and double-meaning apostle, resist, stand fast in the faith. What does that mean? Resist and stand fast in the faith means stand fast in the zodiac. Stand fast in the zodiac. So how do we know this? Let's go back to the image of the zodiac, all right, of the 12 zodiacs. Remember, Cetus is the beginning of liars, the beginning. That means Aries. Oops, hold on. That means Aries. Aries is the first constellation, y'all, right? Aries is the first constellation. So let's show what this means by stand fast in the faith. Stand fast in the zodiac. I got to pull the image back up. All right, here we are. So everybody see that? So here's the perimeter in the zodiac. Cetus gets punished, right, for being outside of the zodiac, right? Aries, okay? So the author is saying that the Bible verse that says stand fast in the zodiac, or stand fast in the faith, is actually staying within the perimeters, these two blue lines of the zodiac, okay? And you won't be punished. So what does that mean? As a matter of fact, can y'all put some comments in on what this means? The author is saying stand fast in the faith, which is the zodiac, these two blue lines. Okay, stand fast in the zodiac, stand fast in the faith. Don't be like Cetus, who is what? Who is the first in the first zodiac, but lying outside of the zodiac. So therefore, he is punished. He is punished. So what does it mean? What's the information? What's the message in this? What's the message in that? I would love to see what y'all have to say about that one. What is the message? Stand fast in the faith. Stand fast in the zodiac. Resist Resist going outside of the perimeter of the zodiac. So what is the zodiac? First of all, these are the 12 constellations, right? Astronomically, they are physical, natural phenomena, sun, suns. They're real, they're tangible. The author is saying don't go outside of, now this is my opinion, don't go outside of what is natural. Don't go outside of what is natural. Okay? Because when you go outside of what is physical, what is tangible, what you can perceive with your six senses, right? What are we talking about? We're talking about concrete versus abstract. We deal with this topic in the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. Concrete things fall within the realm, by definition, of reality. The definition of reality are those things that you can only experience through your sight, smell, touch, taste, and hearing, your senses. Abstract things. So what are abstract things? You get all of this discussion, you get all of this knowledge in the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. All of it in the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course, all right? We refer to it as the Hebrew versus Greek worldview, or Hebrew versus Greek paradigm. This is a critical concept. We use it all the time. We use it all the time in our Saturday 10 a.m. class. All right. So y'all should come and experience that. So now I'm giving you my, my interpretation of what this means in the Bible verse that says resist, right? In other words, resist the devil, stand fast in the faith. Resist going outside of natural phenomena. Resist going into abstracts. Resist going into abstracts. Why? Because you're going to get played. You're going to get played dealing with abstracts. All right? Plain and simple. That's what it is. It is what it is. All right? Okay. So now let's continue. The double tongue, the double speak is this. You were taught from theology that you should resist the devil, who is a real person who lived. Okay? You were also taught stand steadfast in the faith. The faith is your doctrine, right? All of the Hebrew Israelite groups, the camps, the churches, the assemblies, all of them have their own doctrine. And they'll all tell you that they have the right doctrine and that the doctrine is everything. And you need to follow their specific doctrine. Otherwise, what? You ain't gonna make it into the kingdom and all of that other stuff. Right? Now, Christianity does the same thing. All right. So you have the Catholics, you have the Methodists, the Protestants, the Baptists. So you have all of these different denominations, right? Money is also called, you have a one denomination, right? A $1 bill denomination, a $5 bill denomination. You have a $10 bill denomination, $20, $50, and $100 bill denomination. And you have denominations in churches. Y'all make the correlation. You have denominations of churches. So why are we calling fiat? See, fiat is fake. It's not real money. Real money is gold and silver, right? That's a divine law. Okay, check it out. Fiat is fake. So you can make an application of what? Fake and real, concrete and abstract. Natural law, gold and silver is money. Abstract, okay, we know that some printed paper is not money. It has no substance, right? Nothing backing it up except for you being stupid. You being stupid, right? So y'all see what I'm trying to say? So churches are denominations. Why? Because they're all about getting into your pocket to get your denominations out of your pocket and into theirs. Okay, so that they can have the big, beautiful car, the big, beautiful home, the jewelry, all the women they want, or all the little boys they want. Y'all know that's the truth happening in religion. I'm not saying nothing that ain't true, but anyway, it is what it is. All right. So that's the double speak. That's the double speak. They're telling you that it's a religion you need to stay in, a doctrine you need to stay in, but they themselves know that they're talking about natural phenomena, staying within the zodiac, staying within what is real, staying within what is concrete, what is real. Y'all understand? And you can take that a step further, but I won't do that. Uh, one, because I don't know enough about it myself to really speak on it and give it justice. And two, I don't think most people are ready for it. All right. So I'm going to keep teaching the fundamentals and the basics. And then those people who have stuck with me from the beginning, you all will get the information because you'll see it when you see it. When it comes out, you'll see it, or I'll invite you privately. But it's not something that I want to do publicly. All right. So now let's continue, y'all. The author makes another amazing claim. And this claim is that King David is actually the S-U-N son. King David is the S-U-N son. Now we know that in the gospel, JC, the Christ figure, is also what? The son of David. And the Christ figure is also what? The S-U-N son. We see him with his halo all the time, right? So the author references Psalms 22. And if you read Psalms 22, you'll see a scripture that talks about the fat bulls of Bashan. So those bulls have reference to the astrological or zodiac sign Taurus the bull. Taurus the bull, right? And then the Christ figure in Matthew, and y'all should take note of this. In Matthew, the author writes here on page 87, y'all. Listen to the language that the author uses. Says he, that's whoever wrote the book of Matthew, says he in the spell of Matthew. He didn't say it in the book of Matthew. He said in the spell of Matthew. Why? Because you have to write words. The book of Matthew is nothing but what? A bunch of words that are written according to what? That are written according to, in English, what? English grammar. English grammar rules. The spelling, right? So the author is saying that is written in the spell of Matthew, the charm, the incantation, the black magic. But anyway, I just want to bring that to your attention. The Christ figure says, excuse me, the Christ figure says, quote, suffer the little children to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of heavens. So now we see two astronomical key words, children, and then kingdom, let's say phrase, kingdom of the heavens. So who are the children? The children are the Gemini of May. The children are the zodiac sign of May, which is Gemini. Suffer the little children, suffer Gemini to come unto me. Who is me? The S-U-N son. Separate the theology from the physical phenomena, which is what? The natural phenomena occurring in the heavens. All right. So now, what is the kingdom of the heavens? Well, let's show the kingdom of the heavens. All right. Before we refer to this as what? Heavenly Jerusalem above, the kingdom of the heavens. So let's look at it. There it is. Here's the kingdom of the heavens. In my Father's abode, there are many mansions. In space, there are many zodiac constellations, 12 to be exact. All right, 12 to be exact. And here's Taurus the bull, okay, coming out of Psalms 22 that we mentioned. The fat bulls of Bashan close me in on every side. Why? Because the sun, when in the house or the mansion of Taurus the bull, what houses have walls, right? All right, there you go. Gemini, the two twins. Y'all see, here's one twin. See his head, his arms look like a stick man. And then here's the other stick man, the twin. Suffer the little children to come to me. Okay, now remember, we're talking about the S-U-N, sun. All right, and let me backtrack a little bit. So when you talk about page 86, where we were talking about Christ being the mediator between capital G-O-D and men, here you are standing on the earth. Here is the sun, Christ, the mediator. All right, the zodiac. Okay, so when you move about this way, right, you're moving, and it appears that these objects are moving as you stay looking at a fixed object. But anyway, y'all check this out when y'all read about Christ being the mediator of the law. It'll help you. All right, so there it is, the natural phenomena. Okay, the remix of the astronomy or astrology into religion. So let's keep going. What else is in here? Psalms 22 again. There's a verse that says, "Oh, save me from the lion's mouth. Thou that hast heard me, also from among the horns of the unicorn." So now in that verse, Psalms 22, we see another two references to what? Astronomical phenomena. And in this case, it's pretty simple, right? It's pretty simple. We know what it is. Here it is. We're going to look at what? Leo. Save me from the lion's mouth. Okay, that's Leo, the constellation Leo. Okay, and the horns of the unicorn. What are the horns of the unicorn? What are the horns of the unicorn? There is no such thing as a unicorn, right? There's no such thing as a unicorn. So what is being spoken of by this unicorn? You can read it for yourself on page 87, and page 88. All right, so I'm giving you something to do. Now, the author also talks about, let's read this again, the lion's mouth, okay, and quote, "Oh, deliver me from the sword, my darling, from the power of the dog." Now, what is the dog? Again, the dog is nothing more but what? As a matter of fact, let me show this so y'all can see it. Let me show this. Of course, we're talking about constellations, right? Constellations and stars. So let me show this. I'm going to Google search for a picture of the dog constellation too, so y'all can see it. But I'm pulling up the PDF so y'all can better follow along. All right, I should have did that from earlier. All right, so let me go and share the PDF so y'all can see it for yourself. All right, but make sure, scholars, download that PDF. Okay, download the PDF so that you all can have it, and then that way I don't have to worry about whether or not you're understanding, because I know a lot of this stuff is complex because it's new to you. Okay, so but at the same time, there's no point of me presenting if nobody's understanding, right? So it would help greatly if y'all would actually download it, okay? And then I don't have to worry about if you all are understanding, and I don't have to stop breaking my train of thought, okay? So let me see, what page are we on? Okay, so y'all, with page 89 is where I'm coming from. I want y'all to see this, all right? So we're talking about the remix, the gospel remix of astronomical phenomena. That's what we're dealing with, all right? And again, for sensitive people, we're not trying to break or destroy your faith. We're trying to give you a basis for believing what you believe. So you'll know. And once you know this information, you can make a decision as to whether or not you're going to continue believing it or not. But at minimum, you should know what astrotheology is. You should know what you believe and why. I don't think anybody can ever argue that. So let me see if we're on the right page. Page 87, y'all. Excuse me. We're on page 87. We're on page 87. Okay, so let me highlight where we're at. So here's where we are. Here's where we are. We're here. All right. Here's where we are. Okay. So we talked about the lion's mouth. So the lion's mouth, that's Leo, right? Leo the lion, the zodiac sign Leo. But what is this dog? That's the question, right? What is this talking about? All right. So page 88, page 87 rather. Go back and take a look at that. So here's where we started. Here's where we started, all right? Psalms 22. That's where we were coming from. All right. So here's the verse. Oh, save me from the lion's mouth. Thou hast heard me also from among the horns of the unicorn. Now let's skip down. But here, sirs, is the very astronomical what? There's an astronomical crisis. So what is this referencing? This is referencing the characteristics and the attributes of each of the 12 zodiac signs. So what should we immediately begin to think about astronomically? There are 7 zodiac signs in the summer months. Yeah, I think there's 7. There's 7, I think, in the summer months, right? But there are 5 in the winter, right? And the winter, fall going into winter, it's not good, right? Nobody really likes the weather. Well, I know I don't really like fall weather. Well, the beginning of fall is good, but as it approaches winter, I don't really like it, right? And I definitely don't like winter. That's why I like to stay in the tropics, okay? So these are rough times. So the astronomical crisis, just by thinking about this, we should expect what? We should expect this crisis to have something to do with the character and the attributes of the zodiac signs, right? So let's read. But here, sirs, is the very astronomical crisis to the accuracy of the setting of a watch. In other words, the author is saying, I'm going to tell you something that's completely accurate, undeniable, right? That's what he's saying. Of the allegorical adaptation of that incantation. So here he's referring to it as an incantation. He referred to Matthew as a spell. Remember right there, a spell. Why? Because we're dealing with what? Black magic when we talk about the Gospels. Not when we talk about natural phenomena called astronomy/astrology. Okay, now that's double tongue, right? Because your religious teachers teach you that this physical science is what? Devil worship. Double tongue. No. The Gospels, according to the author, according to astrotheology, the gospel stories are fairy tales. They're not real, right? They're incantations, black magic, spells and charms. See, double tongue apostles, double tongue. In other words, these things have 2 meanings, but they only told you one, which was the one that benefits them and keeps you stupid. All right. So the allegorical adaptation, this is the remix that I'm talking about. All right. The allegorical adaptation, the astrology remixed into the gospel stories, fantasies of that incantation, of that charm, of that black magic, that spell, where you see the sun, sun. Notice this, y'all. Notice where you see the sun, sun, rising up into the arms of those little children. That's Gemini. Okay, we're describing, the author is describing what's happening with the SUN sun in the zodiac. Just contrives to make his, who is his? His is the SUN sun, escape from the horns of the unicorns. All right. So now let's go back real quick and we'll identify. Well, no, y'all can do that on your, you can do that on your own. You can identify these horns of the unicorn. Just look at the zodiac sign that I showed you. Now remember, the sun is going into it's going into Gemini. All right. So you should be able to identify which constellation is the horn of the unicorn. All right. So go ahead and do that. And has now to look out for the forthcoming danger. What's the forthcoming danger? That's the constellation what? Leo, Leo the lion. And must make a dip to nicely, or must make a dip to the nicety of a hair's breadth to keep clear of the lion's mouth. So that's Leo. So the sun goes into Leo. And quote, oh, deliver my soul from the sword, my darling from the power of the dog. What is this dog? Who is this dog? Oh, make thy way straight before me, end quote. Let me not be attracted from my course. That's the SUN sun. Let me not be attracted from my course, from the elliptic, right? By the power of the dog in the south, where he rises helically with me in the summer. Y'all see that? So the dog is just what? It's just what? It's a constellation. Let me not be attracted from my course by the power of the dog in the south, southern part of the sky, right? So southern part of the sky in the south, where he rises helically with me in the summer, nor let me be worried by them in the long nights of winter, when in the evening they return, grin at me like a dog, and go about in the city. That's coming from Psalms 59, y'all. So y'all see that? So now let's go and take a look back at the celestial map. All right. Let me know in the comment section if y'all are understanding what's being talked about here. Let me know if this is confusing or if you all are understanding it. Okay. So now let's take a look. Go back to the celestial map. If y'all can let me know, put a 1 in the comment section if y'all understand it. Put a 2 if it's not, if you're not understanding it. Okay. Let me know where we stand. All right. So y'all see that? So here is Gemini. Okay. Here's Gemini. Okay. Here's Gemini. And then here's Leo, Leo the lion. Okay. Here's Cancer. Cancer. Okay. But y'all go back and study this. All right. And you'll be able to understand what that's going. Let's move on. I don't want to spend too much time on that topic. All right. But it's there, page 88. And that's where you make, let me see if I can find an image before we move. Let me just make an effort. Let's see, dog constellation. So the point is that these are all referencing, okay, so here we are. Y'all see this right here, Canis? There we are. Canis, here's Canis. Y'all see it? This is the dog constellation, okay? Canis is the dog, right? Okay, let me not be attracted from my course. Why isn't this showing up? Hold on. All right, so let me see. Can y'all see what's going on? My screen is frozen. All right, so let's look at Canis again. The dog constellation. For some reason, it's not opening up. Let me see. Can y'all see it? Yeah, let me stop the share. It's not showing what I'm sharing. So give me a second, y'all. I'm showing the dog constellation. Give me a second here. Let me let y'all see it. All right, this is the dog constellation. Now remember, we're talking about the we're talking about the theology remix. The theology remix of astrology, all right, or natural phenomena. So here we see the dog constellation. Everybody see that? This is the dog constellation, Canis Major. Canis Major. All right, Canis Major. Let's take a look at another image. All right, so this is Canis Major. This is the dog constellation, right? The dog constellation. Now let's see if we can find a different image. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with this. All right, so here it is again. So can y'all see that? Canis Major. All right, Canis Major. So now let me show it. I zoomed in, so I'm going to show the zoom in. So this is the dog constellation. All right, Canis Major. Here we are, Canis Major. So let me read again from the 59th Psalm. It reads, quote, "Oh, deliver me, my soul, from the sword, my darling, from the power of the dog. Oh, make my way straight before me." And now that's end quote. The author goes on to write, "Let me not be attracted from my course." The course again is the elliptic. "By the power of the dog," by the power exerted by these stars, these sun suns exert power, by the power exerted by the stars, the suns sun that are exerted. Let the sun not be what? Brought off course by the power or the energetic effects of Canis Major. Y'all see that? Remixed. This is remixed into theology. Everybody see it? Again, the author's major claim is what? Is that the Gospels are telling the story of the sun during its annual course throughout the heavens, right? Or the sun moving from the start of its ecliptic all the way through the ecliptic and then back to its beginning, right? It happens every year. The sun moves into one zodiac and then into another zodiac, and that process just repeats itself every 12 months, right? Every 12 months. So that's all it is, y'all. Okay. All right. Now let's see what else. Okay. So Jonah, the author talks about Jonah being in the whale's belly. So what's the remix? So what's the astrology of it? What's the astrology of it? And what is the theological remix? Well, the astrology of it is this. The whale, of course, well, let's show it. Let me show it. Let's show the whale. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show the whale. Let me pull it up. So Cetus, everybody knows Cetus, right? Everybody knows Cetus. Here we go. So here's the whale constellation, right? So let's look at this one. Here's the whale constellation. All right, Jonah being in the belly of the big fish. This is the constellation Cetus, right? So Jonah's there for 3 days. Jonah's in the belly for 3 days. Everybody see that? This is the theology. This is the theology. Okay. So now let's look at what? Let's take it further. Let's take it further. I like the way the author presents this. This is on page 88. Notice this, y'all. Notice this. He says here on page 38, quote, I went down to the bottom of the mountains. Now, astronomically, what do we know? Let me show it. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all. Let me show this. So when you talk about the mountain, astronomically, the mountain is what? The sun at its zenith, the sun at its highest point during the year, which is June 21st, the sun at the zenith. Okay. That's why Martin Luther King said, I've been to the mountaintop. Okay. The sun at its zenith. That's the Mason reference to that highly elevated mountain that the devil took JC, the Christ figure, to. Remember that? The temptation of Christ. Go back and watch the video that we did on the temptation of Christ. That was just one, maybe 2 videos ago. Go back and watch that topic, all right? The devil led him up to an exceedingly high mountain. I think we're going to go through that. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think we're going to go through that here. So now let me show y'all where we're at. All right, here we are. This is where I'm coming from, y'all. All right, so you see, DrYasapa is not making this stuff up. All right, it is what it is. Your astronomical keyword is bottom of the mountain. So if the zenith on June 21st is the peak or the top of that exceedingly high mountain, which is what? The summer solstice, when the sun reaches its highest point, its highest or most northern point, and it's elliptic. Okay, this is that exceedingly high mountain. You can't go no higher than the zenith. That's the highest that the sun goes. Now, your winter solstice. So just using logic, you do what? Draw a straight line over to winter. That's going to take you to what? The winter solstice, right? The winter solstice. That's December 21st, 22nd, when the sun is at its lowest point in the ecliptic in the southern part of the sky. Everybody see that? So that's the bottom of the mountain. That's the bottom of the mountain. The winter solstice is the bottom of the mountain. So now let's continue. I went down to the bottom of the mountain. The earth with her bars was about me. What bars? Remember, you enter the gates of hell at the end of September. All right. You enter the gates. What do you think those gates are made of? Okay. Bars. Okay. All right. Forever then said I am cast out of sight. Remember, hell, the bottomless pit. I am cast out of sight, yet I will look again toward thy holy temple. Everybody see that? This is referencing the winter solstice. All right. That's hell, the bottomless pit. It's black. But then it says, yet still will I look again toward the holy city. Right? So remember, from about June 24th to June 25th, the sun is falling. And then December 21st, 22nd, the sun reaches its lowest point in the sky. And for 3 days, it appears as though the sun is dead. Because why? There's no increase and no decrease in the number of daylight hours or nighttime hours. It stays the same for 3 days. But then all of a sudden, 12 o'clock midnight, December 24th, right, which is December 25th, all of a sudden the sun has risen. It has ascended a full 1 degree. And now, for the first time since June 24th or 25th, the number of daytime hours begin to increase. Yes, the sun, S-U-N, is what? Born again, brought back to life. He was dead for 3 days, or at least it appeared that way. Why? Because it appeared that it was standing still. There was no change in the number of daylight hours or nighttime hours, right? But on December 24th at midnight, which is December 25th, now, for the first time, the number of daylight hours are increasing. The sun is reborn, born again. The sun is ascending. It is springing forth. It is springing upward. Yet again will I look toward the heavenly temple. And what's the heavenly temple? The heavenly temple is what? Well, let's read it. Let's read it. When which the severe literality of translation, that means this is not good for the theology, right? It's a severe punch in the eye, okay? Which with severer literality of translation gives us the truly magnificent language of the sun sun in its state of humiliation. That state of humiliation are those 5 months leading into winter, where the number of daylight hours are decreasing, right? Decreasing. The number of nighttime hours are increasing. So the sun is humiliated. It has no power. It has no power over the darkness, over nighttime hours, to increase the number of daylight hours. That's what that's talking about. All right, now let's continue. Let's continue. It reads, in the state of humiliation, right? Struggling to ascend in the ecliptic, quote, I went down to the bottom of the mountains, end quote, repeatedly called the depths of Satan, right? Winter solstice. Okay, y'all remember that? Winter solstice, summer solstice. Summer solstice is the Christ. Winter solstice is the devil, Satan the devil. Opposite ends of the same line. So the devil opposes or is on the opposite end of the line, of that straight line where Christ, right? So Satan the opposer, Satan the devil, and hell, the bottomless pit, all of that stuff that we just discussed, the winter solstice. All right, let's go back to the paragraph. Quote, I went down to the bottom of the mountains, that's the winter solstice, end quote, repeatedly called the depths of Satan. The earth with her everlasting bands and colors was above me, right? So if you're in space and you're looking up, right? Remember, you're in the southern part. You're in the bottomless pit and you're looking up. Well, you can see the beautiful colors of the earth and its atmosphere, right? That's what that's referring to, astronomical. Then said I, quote, I have sunk below the line of the zodiacal constellations, those eyes of heaven, yet will I emerge again toward the holy temple, end quote, which here in the constellation of the Ram. All right, so that's Aries. That's Aries. The holy temple in the constellation of Aries, the Ram. All right, this is the Lamb of capital God. And just exactly is it 3 days and 3 nights to the accuracy of the setting of your watch. Remember, we talked about that. The author made that claim somewhere above. We just read about that. Okay, but so you can see the synergy here. We're talking about the same thing. To the accuracy of the setting of a watch, that is from 12 o'clock at midnight of St. Thomas's Day. That's what? December 24th. The Apostle Thomas, doubting Thomas. Everybody doubted if they would ever see the sun again. Why? Because the number of daylight hours and nighttime hours did not change from December 22nd, 23rd, 24th. 3 days. Christ in the belly of the earth. Jonah in the belly of the fish. But then December 24th at midnight, which is what? December 25th, all of a sudden, the sun is resurrected, reborn. All right, everybody see that? Now let's continue. Okay, to the accuracy of the setting of your watch, That is from 12 o'clock at midnight of St. Thomas's Day, that's December 24th, that the Jonah of the Old Testament is in the whale's belly. What whale? The whale is Cetus. So now let's go back and we show that, all right? So let's show Cetus. Everybody make your connections, okay? Make your correlations, do your integrations with the other topics of science. We're not dealing with any religion right now, right? All right. So here we are. Cetus the whale. This is the constellation that we're dealing with right now in this story. Again, all right. So the Jonah of the Old Testament is in the whale's belly, what, for 3 days, right? And the Son of Man of the New Testament is in the heart of the earth. That is, or what I mean is, or the explanation of the statement is, the sun sun in its lowest degree of its descent in the curve of the ecliptic. All right, that being the exact term of the winter solstice. So let me show it so you all can see what the author is referring to. Always good to visualize, right? Always good to visualize. But give me a second. Let me put this up. Make sure y'all put your comments in. Make your statements. I would like to know what you think about this double tongue and double speak, this cloven tongue, double speaking stuff of the apostles. Remember, it said that the apostles wrote the gospels. So why didn't they tell you about the astronomical stuff, right? So this is the double tongue, the cloven tongue. All right. So why are you just now seeing this stuff now? That's the point I'm trying to make. Okay, so now let's take a look at it. I got what I want to share. At least it looks like it's what I want to share. If not, I'll use the same one that we've been using. All right. Okay, so let's see. I want to show you the physical phenomena, the summer solstice and the winter solstice. Let's see if we can find something that has it. All right, here we are. I don't think this is not a really good one, but we'll work with it for the sake of time. All right, hold on. Well, it's not loading up, y'all. So give me a second. I'll pull up what we've been working with. It's probably better to do it that way anyway. So because we're not seeing what I want to see. It's not. Okay, here we are. All right, so here we see winter solstice. So scholars, can y'all see that? All right, yeah, you're looking at it. Okay, I see. Y'all see it. So here we are. This is the winter solstice, right? December 21st, December 22nd. This is hell. This is hell. Okay, the gates of hell are somewhere around September 29th. You enter into the gates of hell as the sun continues to descend southern or southward until you get here. This is where the devil is called, the winter solstice. This is where the sun is called the devil and Satan. This is the summer solstice. This is where the sun is called the Christ. This is the zenith. This is the peak, that high elevation, that high mountain that the devil took Christ up on. So we're going to talk about how that happens astronomically or naturally. All right. So here is the peak of that exceedingly high mountain, the summer zenith. And here is the bottom of the mountain, which is winter solstice, right? Which is where the devil, Satan, the devil, the opposer. Here's that straight line. Here's the straight line, y'all. So imagine here at the winter solstice, let's say this point right here is the leadership position. The winter solstice, this point is the leadership position. And the summer solstice, let's say this point here, this is the follower position. Okay, everybody see that? Now imagine a straight line here. Okay, so the sun here and the sun here, there's a straight line that connects these. All right, imagine that. So as the sun ascends upward, as the sun springs we got to go this way. Sorry, y'all. This is spring. Okay, spring. So as the sun ascends upward, it springs forward, right? Vernal equinox, spring. As the sun springs upward, it springs north. It springs north. Okay, it's springing north, ascending, ascending, ascending all the way up northward until it reaches the peak of that exceedingly high mountain. So the sun is going from the bottom of the mountain and ascending, springing up, 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 up until it gets where? Into that holy temple, which is the vernal equinox. Why holy temple? Because this is where righteousness reigns. This is justice. This is the just one. Christ came to what? Bring justice on the earth. What is meant by that? To bring equalness, to remove inequity, to remove sin, to bring 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of nighttime. Again, righteousness, equity, 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of night. Now, in our Saturday 10 a.m. class, we connected this to law. And I'm not going to do that here. You have to come to class if you want that kind of information, all right? The class is Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You won't get that here. Come to class. But I will tell you there is a connection, all right? Okay. Now, the sun continues climbing, continues rising until it reaches the peak of that exceedingly high mountain, which is the zenith, the summer solstice. Now, let's go back to it. Imagine that instead of the earth here, that this is the sun, all right? And let's say there's a bar connecting these two, a straight line, okay? So when you move the sun this way, the sun this way is going to move what? An equal distance this way, right? So you move it. So when the sun gets here, then this one will be here, right? So the sun here is leading, right? This is the leader. Y'all see that? So when the leader gets here, the follower is here, right? And when the leader gets here, the follower is here. Everybody see that? But remember, this position right here is the leader. This position is the follower. So Satan, the devil, pushes. The sun in the winter solstice is Satan, the devil. So when the sun begins ascending, transforming himself into an angel of light, when the sun begins springing forward, ascending all the way up to the peak of that exceedingly high mountain. Y'all see that? When that happens, Satan, the devil, the S-U-N sun is here. Christ is going to be here, right? Satan, the devil, S-U-N sun is here. Christ is going to be here. When Satan, the devil is here, what? Christ is here. The devil keeps transforming himself into an angel of light. The devil in the winter solstice. But then when the sun ascends up the ecliptic, as it ascends, it is transforming itself into what? An angel of light, the Christ. Y'all see that? Now, when the Christ is here, now the roles are reversed. That's why the Christ figure says, "Get behind me, Satan. Get ye behind me, Satan." Right? Get ye behind me, Satan. Everybody see that? Satan keeps transforming himself into an angel of light. And the holy temple, again, according to the author, is Aries, the lamb of capital G-O-D. So that's the explanation of what's happening here, right? Now let's go back to the story of Jonah. Okay, Jonah in the Old Testament is in the whale's belly. Okay, and the Son of Man of the New Testament is in the heart of the earth. That is, I'm going from page 88, that is, the sun, S-U-N, is in its lowest degree of descent and the curve of the elliptic. So let me show the other image. All right, so let me show that, y'all, so y'all can see it. All right, so Roderick's point of view writes in his comment, I'm getting it as we go along, but I also noticed that maybe I need to study astrological signs, their attributes, and their meaning. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And I think that's for everybody, y'all. That applies to everybody, including me, because I definitely don't know everything. All right. I definitely don't know everything. So this is a study. This is definitely a study, but it's a study that must be done. And it's a study that will pay off tremendously for the rest of your life. Once you break that gospel, if you choose that you don't accept it, okay, me, I don't accept it. Some of you will continue and accept it, right? So I can only speak for myself. The gospel having been broken and I'm free mentally, well, it's a whole different ball game. All right. I've returned to the Most High. I have returned to following natural law. All right. I've returned to the Most High, following his instructions, which are essentially natural law. All right. No more religion, no more theology, no more. I'm done with that. It has no place. All right. I see it as all being fairy tales. All right. And a Trojan horse, a hammer. So let's go back to it. I need to show the image. So give me a second, y'all. Great comment, Roderick. Appreciate that. Okay, so here we are. Here is the sun in its declination. This is the bottom of the mountain where the cursor is. That's the sun at the bottom of the mountain. Now, remember, this is a circle, right? This is the ecliptic. The yellow line is the ecliptic. This is the sun at the bottom of the mountain. This is hell, the bottomless pit. Over here is the bottomless pit. There's no end to space, right? According to modern day science. This is the bottomless pit. September 29th, they're about the gates of hell when the sun falls below the ecliptic. Over here where the cursor is, this is Christ. This is Christ, the sun at its zenith, June 21st. All right. So you draw that line from the ecliptic to the declination. So Satan, the devil, moves here. Christ moves here. So Satan ascends, springs forward all the way till he reaches that exceedingly high mountain. Satan keeps transforming himself into an angel of light, which is the Christ. Christ is the devil. We went through that. Christ and the devil are the same people. Christ is also the Father, right? Christ is YHWH, according to Catholicism, their version of the Trinity. Christ is the man made manifest from the Father. They are one body. All right. The other Trinity says, no, they're separate people, but they're one in purpose, one in thought, etc., etc., etc. But y'all see it. Christ keeps transforming himself into an angel. The devil keeps transforming himself into an angel of light. So when the devil transforms himself into an angel of light, the sun moving from its zenith, the peak of that exceedingly high mountain, the sun will descend. It will fall all the way to the south, all the way to its declination, which is December 21st, 22nd. Now, Christ is the devil, right? And remember, Christ is in the earth for 3 days and all of that stuff. So there you have it, my friends. This is the winter solstice, and over here is the summer solstice, okay? That is the astronomical meaning of these gospel stories. The gospel, again, is a remix of the astronomical natural phenomena, concrete things. All right, so that's page 89. Now, when we first started out, I talked about Adam, right? Adam, and I talked about Psalms 82:6. So let's go back there. All right. Or do y'all, well, let me see. How many minutes have we been going? I already discussed this. I don't know if I should discuss it again. Okay. So next, the author goes into Adam. Okay. And then Adam being the sun, the S-U-N, sun. Where do we get that? Because the English word Adam, now remember, in Ibaryath, you're only going to see ADM, right? You're only going to, there's no vowels. But in English, it is Adam. So there are two words in there. It's a compound. There's ad, A-D, and then there's am, A-M. So ad means the capital L-O-R-D. As a matter of fact, let me show it. This is something that I should show. All right, I should show this. All right, so y'all make sure y'all download that PDF, okay? Make sure you download the PDF. So here we are, Adam. Everybody see that? Adam, that's where we are. This is page 89. So if you look here, this is ad, and you see am. So ad means the capital L-O-R-D. Now we're talking about English. We're talking about English. Ad means the capital L-O-R-D, and am, A-M means the fire. So what is this? What is this? The capital L-O-R-D, the fire. What is that? Clearly, that's the S-U-N, sun. All right? So the remix in English for Adam, astronomically, is the S-U-N, sun. Okay? The sun himself, the S-U-N, sun, the sun himself, who has been transgressing for the last 3 months, most horribly, sinking lower and lower into inequity or unevenness, and giving us miserable days, that if he does not mend his manners and begin and lengthen his days again, it will be all hell and St. Thomas with us. All right, so a lot is said in there. Now, I mentioned law is being brought up in this, so use your thinking brain, and you will understand what I'm talking about. I just gave you keywords, or the author just gave you keywords. All right, so now what we just read, we already covered when I discussed this. All right, so remember, the only days of equity where there's righteousness, equity, righteousness, uncompromising justice, the scales of justice are balanced when? Only 2 times a year. The autumn equinox and the spring equinox. Why are the scales of justice balanced? Why is there righteousness? Because there are 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of night. 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night only occurs at the equinoxes. The vernal equinox or the spring equinox, and then the autumn equinox. 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of night. Justice, right? In other words, there's equity, evenness, equinox, equal, evenness, equity, equal justice. At all other points, there's what? Inequity. There's unevenness of the number of nighttime hours and daytime hours. Y'all see that? There is inequity. There is unevenness of the number of daylight hours and nighttime hours. For example, at the summer solstice, which is the zenith, that exceedingly high mountain, that's the time of year, June 21st, where you have the maximum number of daylight hours. You see the unequalness? There's more daylight hours than there are night. And then the exact opposite is the case on the winter solstice. That's the time of year where there's the maximum number of nighttime hours and the least number of daylight hours. There is unequalness, unevenness. There is sin in the world. And Christ came to remove the sin, to bring righteousness on earth. So, what is that righteousness? What is that justice? Well, that just one came to bring evenness or equalness, to remove inequity, to bring 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of night. Clear as it gets, right? Very, very clear. Now, the first Adam, let's talk about the first Adam. The first Adam, and we're talking astronomically, okay? The theological first Adam, the theological first Adam, we find him astronomically on June 24th, 25th, right? That is when the sun begins to fall southward. The sun falls lower and lower and lower until it reached the autumn equinox. Remember, so at the zenith, June 21st, that's the peak, the highest number of daylight hours during the year. Now, when the sun moves south, when it descends, it's falling. The number of daylight hours are becoming shorter and shorter until the number of daylight hours become 12 at the autumn equinox, and the number of night hours are 12. They're equal. The sun continues falling. It continues falling right until you get to the declination, where now the sunlight hours are least during the least number during the year. So this, my friend, scholar, this is the first Adam who fell. Adam fell. Remember, Adam is the S-U-N, son. The name Adam, we're talking about the English name Adam. Adam fell. Adam fell into inequity. The number of daylight hours began decreasing. Okay, and Adam what? Adam died and went to hell. Y'all see that? And there are some doctrines that say that Adam will be resurrected. Of course, they got that from what? The astronomical phenomena, where the sun appears to have been dead for 3 days, but then it rises again. Therefore, Adam, according to some doctrine, although he fell into inequity and he went into hell, there are some doctrines now that are saying Adam will be resurrected. Now you understand that theology, okay? Make special note. Now the second Adam is what? Where do we see second Adam? That's right, scholar. You got it. You got it. That is December 21st, where the S-U-N son is reborn, resurrected, raised from the dead. Remember doubting Thomas doubted the Christ? Is that really you? You remember doubting Thomas? The sun seems to stand still December 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. It seems that the sun is dead. No, but the sun is reborn, born again. Now the sun springs up. The sun springs up. It ascends. It ascends. And as the sun is springing up from December 25th, the number of daylight hours begin to increase and the number of nighttime hours begin to decrease. We are talking about the astronomical meaning of the second Adam. The sun continues to ascend, to increase and increase all the way until the vernal equinox on March 21st, thereabout. Now there are equal number of daylight hours and equal number of nighttime hours. Justice and righteousness in the holy temple has been achieved. Adam continues, the second Adam continues to ascend all the way until he reaches the peak of that exceedingly high mountain. This is the astronomical phenomena expressed according to the author in the fairy tale, according to the author that we just reviewed about the first and the second Adam. Now, I want y'all to think, if Adam in English is the sun, as we've been discussing, and we looked at Psalms 82:6, now do you understand why the scripture says, quote, and ye are powers, and ye are capital God, said in the Psalms, also said by JC, the Christ figure himself. Now, do y'all understand that? The sun in the sky, the heat, the energy that it produces, the warmth, the life that it gives, right? Right? If it's cold, nothing's going to grow. There's no life if everything is frozen, right? So it's the warmth of the sun. All right. That's why in all of these cultures, they say that, or they represent the sun as being capital God. Okay. Not worshiping it. That didn't happen until later. All right. They just recognized its role as providing heat and energy so that life can continue. All right. So in other words, those of us who are sprung from the earth, we have the sun in us. The sun is our energy source. Y'all see that? It is the sun sun that heats our body. It is the power within. It is the power within us, our energy supply, that gives us the energy, the power to animate, to move, and to think. All right. All right. So I think we can stop here, y'all. Oh, by the way, before we do that, let me show y'all so I don't have to go back to this. Y'all know the Bible story about Lazarus. All right. So the Bible story about Lazarus that's happening in the winter solstice, right? Lazarus is dead. Y'all remember that? Lazarus is dead. He's in the I think it's 4 days, 3 or 4 days. I can't remember. Maybe 4 days. Okay, so that's in the winter solstice. Okay, so Lazarus again would be the sun. All right, the sun. Lazarus is the sun. Okay, so remember on December 21st, the sun had been already increased, already ascended, risen 1 degree. Okay, that's on December 25th. Now the number of daylight hours begins to increase since the sun began falling, right? So this is Lazarus being resurrected, who was what? Dead. He was cold, right? He was dead. He was cold. He was in the earth. December 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, he's resurrected. The Christ figure said, Lazarus, come on out. And the sun begins to ascend. The number of daylight hours begin to increase. Lazarus is resurrected. All right. And it says here, so that's occurring December 25th, right? And remember in the verse, I believe the Christ figure says Lazarus, whom he loved, or something like that. So whom he loved, that's referring to the year, according to the author. This is also on page 89. It's the last paragraph. It's the last paragraph. So now Lazarus came out. He was dressed what? He was all wrapped up, right? Lazarus was all wrapped up in the death, whatever it was that they wrapped him in. He came out and he was cold. Wintertime, you wrap up. You put on a lot of clothes and a coat. Lazarus was all wrapped up. You put on a coat, a lot of clothes, gloves, a hat. You're all wrapped up and it's cold. Y'all see that? Death, the heat. When something dies, there's no more heat being generated, right? Remember that heat is generated from the sun, sun, according to the author, in man. So that energy was turned off. Lazarus becomes cold. He came out cold and probably shaken, right? From being cold. So that's another remix of this story. So y'all will notice that the same story is remixed. Let me repeat that. That the astronomical phenomena that we've been looking at, how these constellations move, the seasons, all of this stuff is remixed into different Bible stories, like Lazarus, like Jonah, like the Christ figure, his death and resurrection. All right. Same astronomical phenomena remixed into a different story. All right. So let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. I hope that you all benefited greatly from this live stream. I really, really do hope that you benefited. I don't know. I'm more interested in you learning than being entertained. I hope it wasn't too boring, but if it was boring, hey, that's part of the price you have to pay to become an educated man or woman. It's part of the price, right? So you got to pay your price, you got to pay your dues, you got to pay your dues, rather. And it is what it is. You pay your dues or you don't pay your dues, right? If you pay your dues, then that means you deserve every good thing that you get. If you don't pay your dues, that means you don't deserve it. So what you talking about? You see what I mean? You don't even have a right to be a part of the discussion because you didn't pay your dues. Simple concept. All right. So if it's boring, y'all, hang in there. Roderick's point of view writes, I have broken the gospel spell as well. However, in order to free others, I must learn to explain it in a way that is easy to digest and understand. So this is good. Wow. Excuse me, y'all. I mean, I agree with you totally. And that's a mouthful, y'all, because this stuff is so much detail in it. And so that's a challenge. That's a challenge for you scholars that Roderick is talking about. That's a challenge to get this information and then be able to explain it, right? In a way that other people can understand it in a time frame where they're not going to lose interest, right? And y'all see, I'm struggling with that. These live streams, sometimes they go long, but I'm doing the best I can. And I'm sure Roderick is doing the best he can. And I'm sure everybody else is going to do the best they can, right? But the important thing for us, y'all, is for us to continue, right? We continue trying, practicing, trying and practicing until we get it. That's the thing. So great comment, Roderick. Okay, so if you like the way I teach, y'all, if you like the way I teach, or you just like me, or if you like me, if you like the content that we're bringing at Zion Law School, consider making a financial donation or investment. My Cash App is $ Dr. Yasapa, $DrYasapa. It helps us greatly. We can do a lot to make these presentations more professional, to make it more like a production, right? Also with the other projects that I'm working on, and I have to get this finished, y'all. I mentioned to you all before that I want to write the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible. I want to write them in Ibaryath with their Ibaryath meanings in English. So in other words, remove all Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8 occurrences so that you get the literal meaning of the verses, like we've been doing now, right? When we look at the roots, what the author calls the ammonium roots, okay, or the ammonium bases, rather, that's how he refers to it, root words, etc. So we remove all doctrine, remove it all, and show what they literally say. But that's a huge undertaking. So I'm going to need you all's support on that. I don't want to live off of soy sauce and rice, because I'm trying to do something to help our people as a nation. That's not fair to me or the people I'm responsible for, right? So I'm sure everybody understands that it takes money to exist here. All right, so the Cash App is $ DrYasapa, $DrYasapa. So if you like me, you like the way I teach, you like the content, and you want to support the work, you can do that through Cash App or PayPal.me/Zion Law School. You can support Zion Law School or me. Okay. There are ways to do that. So here we're looking at Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. Can y'all see that? All right. How can you say we are wise and the law of the Most High is with us and we are learned in its language? That is ancient Ibaryath, not biblical Hebrew, not modern Hebrew, not Aramaic, not any of that thing. And we are learned in its ancient language, that's Ibaryath, and its teachings, that's the Most High's instructions. Behold, the truth is that the lying pen of the scribes have made the law into a lie, a mere code of ceremonial observances, right? So that's why we need this project. That's why we need the project to write the first 5 books in Ibaryath and show their literal meaning. Remove all of the Jeremiah 8:8 occurrences. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. So there we have it. So if you want to subscribe to our 101 Ancient Ibaryath course, the link to the course is in the comments, in the description area of this video. Okay, y'all? So you can go to zionlawschool.org, click on course offerings, and then you'll see the streaming 101 Ancient Ibaryath course, which is right here. So you'll just click on this. You'll click on the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. This is a streaming course. You can do it at home. Okay. It's 113 video presentations with me. I'm DrYasapa teaching it. Okay. And you're going to be introduced to all of the concepts regarding language, regarding history, and all of these things that we've been working with in the Devil's Pulpit. This course is going to blow your mind. Trust me. It's only $10 per month, right? And you can cancel anytime. So finally, let me show the last thing that I've been promoting, which is the 911 Ancient Ibaryath book. This is the ABCs of Ibaryath. It gives you all the information, right? Okay, so it's on sale again. So this is the only book that you'll buy on Amazon. All the rest of the books, buy them on zionlawschool.org. All of the links are in the description area of the video. Okay, y'all? So I'm DrYasapa from Zion Law School. Thanks for spending your evening with me. It's been my pleasure. Shalawama to the whole house of Yasharallah and Islam, I self-law and master. And Shalawama to the entire 16 nations of Moors who are sprung from the earth. Genesis chapter 2, Genesis chapter 10, Jubilees chapter 8, the land grants, right? And I say to you that you are the law. You are the substance and subject matter of the law. You are, quote unquote, God's. Psalm 82:6. You must know who you are. You are the law. You are the power.